Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to show you what LockDown browser looks like from the student perspective and then how to make a quiz in Canvas and require LockDown browser. So this is the app that students will have to download. Teachers don't have to download this, only students. And there are some instructions and troubleshooting tips in that Canvas Google Doc that you can share with the students, and you'll want them to do this ahead of time because it takes a little while to download this. So once they download this, they can run it. They might have to click kill these applications multiple times. And then eventually it will ask them to log into their Canvas course. So they'll just log in as usual. And I'll log in here. And what you'll notice about this browser is that it fills the whole screen. You can't run other applications at the same time. You can't open additional tabs, so you can't access other web pages. Essentially, you're locked into this Canvas course, this screen here. And so they can go to their Canvas course, they can go to quizzes, and let's say they're going to take this quiz here that you already wrote, and they'll go to take quiz. Maybe you put a password on it, and we can talk more about that later, why you might want to do that. And so this is what it looks like for the student. This is your essay prompt here, and then they can type their answer in here. They can drag this and make it bigger if they want. They can format the text if they want. And once they start typing in here, they can copy and paste, cut and paste to rearrange stuff. They can't paste into here from somewhere else, but within this box they can cut and paste to rearrange stuff. They can click this up here to get accents and symbols. There's an option to enable a calculator if you wish. And so that's what it looks like from the student perspective. When they're done, they'll click Submit Quiz. And that's it. So now they can get out of this browser and close it. And that's it. So to see what that looks like here, if they went to Quizzes and tried to take this quiz here without using LockDown browser, they're going to put the correct password in, but it's just going to give them a message saying this quiz requires Respondus LockDown browser, so they can only access the quiz through that browser. Okay, so now let's look at this from the teacher side. So if you want to use this, you'll want to make a quiz first. It only works with quizzes, not generic assignments. And so these instructions are the same whether for making a quiz are the same for whether or not you're using LockDown browser. You're going to want to go to quizzes on the left and then plus quiz. And let's call this essay 1. The important thing is don't write the prompt or the questions in here because this is viewable without entering the quiz. And there's some settings you can do. You can set a time limit if you want. This you can just leave checked. It allows them to read your feedback. You can do require access code. One thing is that you can't publish a quiz for one section of a multi-section course and not for another. So if you have two sections and you don't want the second section to see the questions ahead of time, you can put a password on it and then either not give them the second section the password yet or change the password after the first section enters the quiz. That way the students in the second section can't access it until you give them the new password. And then up here now we can go to questions. So here's where we actually write the questions or the essay prompt. And we'll go to new question and we can change this to any of these. Let's do essay question. You can assign a certain number of points. Later, if you want, you can attach a rubric to it. And so here we'll write the prompt. And you can upload a file here. You can insert images. So you have a lot of options for how you make the prompt. And then the important thing is to click Update Question, because if you just click Save, it won't actually save your question. So we have to click Update Question. And then we can add additional questions or we can just save and publish. Since we put a password on it, there's no problem publishing it ahead of time. The students won't be able to access it. And then if you click these 3 buttons here, this is where you attach a rubric if you want to. You can do Add Rubric if you choose to. And then we're going to go to LockDown browser on the left here. And this is where we say that the quiz has to use LockDown browser. So we'll click here and go to settings, and then just change this to require Respondus LockDown browser. This thing here is for whether you're going to force them to use LockDown browser to read the feedback on their essay or their quiz. So usually it seems like that's not necessary, but you can keep that clicked if you want. And that's pretty much it. That's the gist of it. So you can stop now, or if you want to hear about some of the advanced settings, you can keep listening. So in terms of the advanced settings, this one's kind of interesting. Lock students into the browser until exam is completed. This literally does not let them close LockDown browser until they click the Submit Quiz button. So the downside to that is if if the internet fails and they can't submit the quiz, they will not be able to exit LockDown browser, which has taken over their computer, until they get internet connection and submit their quiz. But you can put a password on it to close early. So if you are going to use this setting, you should put a password on it to get around that problem. So then they can exit with that password, whether or not they have clicked Submit Quiz. In general, I don't think it's necessary to do that, because if they do close the browser without submitting the quiz, it will send you a message saying the student closed the browser without submitting the quiz, and then that would be strange, right? So I don't think a student would do that. This one here, allow access to specific external web domains. Just be careful, because if you put in a specific web link, it will allow access to anything in that domain. So if you put in a specific link to a Wikipedia article, it's going to allow anything in Wikipedia. And if you put in a specific New York Times link, it's going to allow anything in New York Times. So if what you want is just to allow a very specific link, you can put that link in your actual quiz or essay prompt. You can put that very specific link, and then it will only allow that one. That's pretty much it. So we'll do save and close. And now this is required. So that's it for this video. Take care.